All right, we'll call the meeting to order here at 5:01 PM. First up is to approve and sign the minutes from January 9th.
Make a motion to accept them as presented. I read them this afternoon.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. All those abstain?
Abstain.
Thank you. Next up, we have to approve and sign the joint minutes from January 17th. You were at that meeting, so do I
Yeah.
have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, and Scott will sign them in the office. All right. Up next, we have a request for forgiveness on some interest and penalties. On some property taxes. And speaking with you today, you said that bill was paid in full, all tax years, so there's a zero balance on there right now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good for him.
I think that constitutes a consideration of some sort that we've done in the past with other
Yeah, what we've done in the past was
portion.
forgive half of the interest on the present. Or actually, did we give them a choice to take it off the end of it so that they could have an extra grace period on that?
Well, he's paid to date, so you're just gonna be looking at the interest that he has here.
Okay, and what,
And half of that would be 2,434.68. So right here, if you see this page where I've got it circled,
Why don't we just get credit on the next bill?
okay, I would say we could give a credit, but it stays on account.
you need to motion to approve the abatement in the amount, and then instead of refunding it, you apply it to the next bill.
Okay. What exactly did you say that amount was gonna be? 2,000?
$2,434.68.
Does that sound fair? Before I make the motion,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So I make a motion to abate $2,434.68 on the interest and penalties for Wayne's Market property taxes. Do I have?
And to
So,
apply it to the next.
Oh, I thought you wanted a second
No,
motion
you
for
don't.
that.
You can
Oh,
do it all
we can do it
together.
all if you want,
If
okay.
you want.
And to apply that credit to his account to stay here at the town of Woodstock.
second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you, Judy. What else we got? They're contracted to provide a catered lunch service.
No, you have another abatement up there. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah. Oops, sorry, my bad. I missed that one. So we have a second abatement for water bill. What is the exact amount that they're looking to have abated? This whole, not the whole thing, not the whole 1,800.
They would like the whole, it would be pretty much $1,800. Because
I think the trouble with
about 92.50.
The trouble with this, is we spent some money, but we don't normally do helping this person out, and we've sent the meter out to be checked twice and everything else, and there was obviously something wrong, because there's nothing wrong with the meter. There was something wrong in their house, I think. I don't think we should give them anything myself, but that's my opinion.
Was there any interest accrued?
Yes. We had suggested to them that they should pay this bill, and then if we found something wrong with the meter, we brought people in to look at the plumbing in the house. We sent the meter out once, then we sent it out again because they questioned it to a different place. It came back 99.9% accurate.
They're both.
Everything's, yep. they still have not paid their bill, and as of the date that I ran this, it was there was interest of $104.46 as of 2/5. So I guess I ran it as of yes,
Yesterday.
yeah.
So I could go either way as far as abating the interest, but not any other portion of the payment. Or say, no,
Well,
you owe
half
it
the
all.
interest,
I'd be
I'm in
okay
favor.
with that, just letting them off the interest, but they need to pay the whole bill. There was
I-
obviously something wrong, you know.
And if they don't pay it after I notify them today, then
The
they should be
interest-
responsible for the interest, but I can tell you there's a closing
We
in
should give them
process for
till-
this house.
Friday, right?
well, that probably scaring them a little bit too, because they don't want people
Right.
thinking that
Well,
they're gonna buy the house, they got
they'll pick it up.
$1,800 annual water bill.
No, they'll find out that we talk to the title and closing people all the time. They'll do a final read.
Mhm.
The old meter was put back in,
Right.
after being tested. And when
It was reading fine.
it was reading
after
fine,
that.
picked right up, so.
Yeah.
So,
Or we can just debate the interest on the, I know it's closing soon, so
Right.
it's not
I
gonna
would
hurt
say,
much.
yeah, at least give till Friday, so if you notify them tomorrow, gives them or next Friday.
Mhm.
What is next Friday?
That's fine.
16th? So
I
we'll
don't know.
abate the interest through next Friday, February 16th,
Okay,
and that's it.
okay.
So I make a motion to abate the interest on this water bill through February 16th, 2024.
in the amount of,
Well, we won't know the exact amount of that
Oh.
interest because it's gonna incur a little bit each day between now and next Friday.
I won't exceed it beyond the 16th.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Alright. Relocating business. We need to obtain a letter from the municipality stating there are no victims.
I prepared the standard letter that you would normally send for all the other, like places
For any other special event.
and the bars and.
Well, is this just for one event, or is this for every event there all summer?
It's
Sounds
for
like
the,
this one particular event.
Because it-
we're giving it to the liquor commission so that. Oh, it's Kippy. Sorry, Kip. Sorry. Hello, Judy.
Oh, Scott, you're on mute. You're on mute. Unmute, Scott.
He's gonna have to put in a letter anytime he caters there. So, it's not a permanent, okay. It's every time he has an event there and he's gonna cater it, he needs a letter from the town, same as anybody else, at any other venue.
Right, and the liquor commission, and especially if it's a different person catering it, they will ask us for another letter.
It's
So
more
like-
of a formality, but,
It's every event. You have to do it every event, doesn't matter if it's the same place or not.
right.
Given that this isn't your typical, will he have to do any type of sort of like fencing off of an area to?
We say here, provided they have met all the state and local requirements, so we default that to them to.
Follow state and
Mhm.
town regulations. Okay,
It's just a formality.
alright,
It is kind of just a formality, I think.
And
They-
then this letter
Have a
pretty
motion?
boilerplate.
I'll make a motion to allow them to, well, we don't allow them to do anything, we just let the
to sign
state,
the,
no, we don't care.
It's really all that we're saying is we don't have an objection if the state gives
Right.
them the permit to do it.
so motion to sign the letter.
Make a motion to sign the letter.
Okay, second, all
Second,
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Scott will sign in the office. Alright. next up, this was a fun email. We received an email from the US Board on Geographic name changing. As there's been a New Hampshire resident seeking their consideration to change the name of the Baker River and its tributaries.
Yep.
Which is why we were emailed.
To an unpronounceable name.
I am not even gonna try.
Squamachiki, I don't even know.
Chumaki, a squam, Chumaki.
A squam Chumaki, I think.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. It's an Abenaki name for river, meaning
Crooked River from
high
high
places.
That actually, I get onto that map and it actually traced all the way back to like Golden Pond.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, and it goes through, it looks like it's intermittent and maybe even seasonal when it gets up that high, but yeah, I'm in agreement myself with the Forest Service on this.
Yeah. So we have Forest Service, Grafton County Commissioners, we have New Hampshire state agencies who are all opposed to this, so I think it is certainly in the best interest to us to oppose it as well. So I make a motion to have Dewey draft a letter to the US Board of Geographic names that we oppose the proposed name change for the Baker River. Do you have a second?
Yep.
All those in favor?
I
Aye. Thank you. All right, next up. We have a letter from New Hampshire DOT that Woodstock bridge painting that they were going to do on, I believe it's on Lower Route 3. Yeah, down by the jack, that they had come and given us a pretty good proposal, November, December. They're now due to some delays, are looking to not start the work now until 2025.
A
So,
year delay,
yeah,
not just a delay.
so they're just making us aware, so there will not be a painting project occurring in Lower Woodstock this summer.
Doesn't sound it.
No. So, yeah, it doesn't look like they're gonna advertise it until July of 2024, so. Okay. Following up on the status of Gordon Pond from previous meeting, we were able to track down the email from the Forest Service to members of Lost Valley, stating that they were not exploring any alternatives to the current trailhead at this time and have no current plans to move the trailhead. Of course, with land management, something might change in the future, and if any plans to move the trailhead are proposed, they'll keep them informed. So it is staying as it is.
Without, it's just that there's no parking, you have to get left off and then.
That's as it stands right
It's
now.
Staying as it is now.
So,
I did see something here, says to forward an email from Scott Hall. You want to give it to the town clerk about
That's what she
the
described.
purchase.
that's what I just read.
About the purchase of the property?
No.
That's the very first thing,
No,
the very first email from
Well,
Bob
that's-
Matheson to Moran.
I just am looking at the Gordon Pond thing. I didn't read through
Well, that's
all
what
of their
this is,
personal.
this is
read
what
it.
this is about.
No, they don't want
No.
to purchase Gordon Pond.
It's the lower email to say that the trailhead is not being moved. That is what was in question.
I
So
know, but this, am I misreading this?
I think those are personal emails that were sent between
Miles
Lynn,
and Bob?
Yeah,
and has nothing to do with us.
Okay. I didn't know
Because they
which
have not
property they were
submitted
trying to purchase.
they have not
So is
submitted a
that with the-
formal request of any sort to us.
No.
So
Okay,
until that
that's my
happens, then
question.
we
I
don't
don't-
have to discuss it.
Because we don't sell, we're not in the real estate business, we don't sell
Right.
property.
Right.
So,
Property.
so where is it? Is the trailhead still mountainside?
Beats the hell out of me.
I think you'll have to take that up with the Forest Service. We just know that they don't plan to move to Lost Valley Right.
to that property.
And that's why they were not responding, kind of.
Yeah, why they haven't
This,
been
this
responding to
was
us.
a very informal discussion in the middle of the woods I had with a couple of guys that I haven't seen since. As far as the actual possibility of moving the trailhead. And I just wanted to relay that to them as part of the, continual link and, as to where this was proposed and where it's going and
Yeah.
we're not
It got
going.
blown way out of
It
proportion.
was just an informal discussion I had with them in the woods.
Mhm.
So,
So other than that, you'll have to call them and take it up with them, because I just know they're not moving, they have no intention to move it to that other location. And it's staying the course,
It's staying the course.
whatever that is, because I'm not a hiker, I don't know.
Right. So, up next on the agenda, we have, an update. So we met with the joint, Board of Selectmen in Lincoln back in early January or mid-January. And one of the discussion points was that, the July 3rd date that we had selected for fireworks, the fireworks company just recently came back to them after the new year and said, oh, sorry, that date's not available. We have July 5th for you. And so given the late in the day and commitment that we had already made, we're moving, or we've agreed to move, the fireworks date for July 4th fireworks to July 5th, unfortunately, that Friday night. We did request, when the email went back to them, agreeing to that they try to, or that they provide us possibly with a commitment for July 4th of 2025 now, so that we're not going through this nonsense next year at this time. So that's where we're at with that. And next we have the final warrant and budget. We did receive the final hour, close to yesterday, a petition warrant article. So you'll find, if you had seen any other warrants, that has now been added. So now that would be Article 24, which is a petition article asking or requesting a discontinuance of all electronic voting devices in the town of Woodstock only. Do you guys have any discussion on that? Any questions on that?
I think we say we're all against it, I would think.
it's a little
Yeah,
more
I'm
work.
not in favor of
The
it.
selectmen do not recommend it because it's ridiculous. So that's what I think.
Do you have any?
We can't say that on the thing, I know, but
No, it will, well, your sentence will go in there, whether you recommend or in agreement or not in agreement with it.
I would say, I'd entertain a motion to say that the selectmen do not recommend this article.
second,
Okay, and we'll be prepared to speak upon why we chose that at the annual meeting.
Oh, easily,
town
you know, if
meeting.
we had 25,
easily.
50,000 voters instead of 500, we might think about it, just because of the reputation
Anybody
of the
that wants to
minion
do the
machines.
polls, whether you have 200 voters or 5,000 or 50,000 voters, to see the amount of work that goes
Okay.
into it.
It's a lot of work.
Does that get put to a vote?
Mhm,
So they go into, not just in the,
right,
we'll have to do it on paper,
no, it will be your
It'll a hand
cards.
vote on this.
a card.
But I'd like
That's
to,
what I
you know,
meant.
point out that everybody on here that we verified, not one person has ever attended a ballot testing. No person has ever attended the end of night counting process. No person has ever come into the office and asked what our procedures are or how we balance out our out. No person has ever requested a recount to prove that our voting devices are not accurate or we don't balance. So, you know, I could go on and on of why, you know, I feel like it's a healthy discussion and everybody's entitled to their,
Right.
but I also feel like you gotta do your due diligence before you submit something like this.
Usually it's on
So,
I see they're doing it on a separate piece of paper now, instead of going into a bar in the middle of the night and having
Oh,
a
yeah, I
sign-up
think-
sheet.
This is actually kind of nice the way they did it, honestly, because
Yeah.
it's easier for us to, right,
Yeah.
right. I just feel like this, you can't lump New Hampshire
no
into the
repeat
rest of the
signatures.
country, you can't even lump Woodstock into the rest of the
State.
state and city, you know? Ultimately, it comes down to if, A, you're electing your elected officials that you should be trusting. Your elected officials have a responsibility and a job to do, and if they're doing their job, and they're trained properly, even if these devices were to fail or make an error, and that's not what I'm saying, you know, I'm not saying they can't, you will catch it because the processes that the state of New Hampshire have in place are so stiff, you know what I mean, like, there's just no way, so it ultimately comes back to human error, you know, but then I'll also make another point that we had a state representative race that 2 years ago that was really tight. And during that race, a recount was called by one of the candidates. All of our ballots were picked up for that district, and they were recounted. There was a 3-ballot error. Those 3 ballots came out of eastern New Hampshire, which was the only hand count town. So, you know what I mean? Like, human errors are gonna be human errors regardless, and it's not the machine's fault because of the processes that they have in place. If you're doing if you're trained,
Right.
and if you're doing your job.
The knock on Dominion machines is they can be reprogrammed to change things. And I think that's what's
In
gets
other,
people nervous.
in other states, you know, you can listen to the
Well,
experts.
Dominion machine is a Dominion.
No,
machine.
because the see, our machines that are allowed in the state of New Hampshire, they were required to, all those ports are plugged, all the things are pulled out. The state of New Hampshire, you know, they're very strict on their machines and the capabilities of those machines, and they were only allowed in here if these certain things were done so that they couldn't be hacked into. I can't speak for other states, and I'm not
Right.
going to. I can just speak for what the state of New Hampshire allows and doesn't allow, and you can't lump us into that.
In 2022, though, down around, I want to say Rochester, but it wasn't.
No, it was
Closer.
Dairy, and it was
They had
London
problems
Dairy.
down there.
They had, and it all came down to, but my friend Sherry in London Dairy had a problem. Immediately caught it because of the way she balanced it, following the procedures, that the Secretary of State immediately switched to hand count, and the Secretary of State came up and hand counted with them. So you're going to catch it if
If you're not balancing.
if you're not balancing. There's no, you know, if you're doing your paperwork and you're balancing out, you're gonna catch any mistake. But there again, call for a recount of our ballots and prove to us that it's not working and that we're not accurate.
Well,
I think that's the only fair thing to do.
Yeah, because this only pertains to Woodstock. This isn't a petition that's going across the whole state.
Well, they could be, this could be, you know.
A
they
common
could-
one on other warrants.
Right, I
yes,
think
but-
that they might be hitting other towns and
towns.
municipalities, because I think it's like a coalition of.
We didn't mean to say we're perfect, but we are.
Well, I'm not saying that at all, but I think that
We picked up.
there's human error, you know, it ultimately, I don't think you can blame the machine if we're all doing our job and, you know, are taking on the responsibility. Not
And
that
there's
we can't
risk of
make,
human error or error.
no matter what you do.
No matter what. Yeah. All right, so we have a motion on the table. We have a second. All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
Scott said aye too. He just muted himself again.
Judy, after the last person votes, the polls close, how long does it take you and your troops to get to, for you, the end of the election day?
Now versus when I had the hand count? Or just now?
Now.
Now, I was able to balance out, and I've also been doing it a very long time, and so has the people the team that I work with. But we were home and I was balanced and I was back here and I was back home by 10:30 with the machines.
Still.
There's
It's a long
difference.
day.
Still one day.
But it's not
6:30.
midnight, 1, 2 o'clock.
we've had some late ones, but there's a difference between midterms and the federal elections. Midterms are short because you don't have as many candidates and as many different positions.
Only on one, only on the presidential.
Presidential, a long night.
No, I
regardless of
mean,
what you do.
there's just, and it depends, you know, you're still required to touch every ballot, you know, at the end of the night, so when those ballots come through, they're pulled, they're divided, but they're pulled, and I have different tables where we sort it, and we're still looking for write-ins or for somebody that wrote somebody in that didn't circle and just wrote the name, because we manually catch that and still write it down.
There's
So, you know what I
overvotes and
mean?
undervotes and
It's just,
all kinds of different stuff.
but at the end, actually, it's really nice because you have a double check. And whereas if you hand count, you don't have that tape coming out of the machine. There's nothing, you're just solely going on what that person said they hand counted. So it's just, it's a perception thing. It's a,
It's a comfort.
and I guess because I work them, so I know. Right, I think it's very hard to lump us into what the other country the other states across the country allow and do, because the state of New Hampshire is really strict.
And there's good leadership in there right now.
Oh,
That has-
they've always had good leadership in the elections, and protecting the integrity of the elections in the state of New Hampshire has always been a huge passion of the Secretary of State's office, and they have always been very protective of that, so they're not going to allow. And they know when mistakes happen and they're on it. But most of the time, I think there's some human error involved
With everything.
with everything. But I would also welcome anybody to follow me through the process from start to finish so they understand it.
Mhm.
You know, the whole step of the way.
Right.
I would love that.
Great. Thank you very much. So you attached the final budget worksheet. That's for tomorrow night.
Yep, this is,
Anything that you need to call out from when we last looked at it? You're still waiting on DRA, you said?
I'm I believe we're done. We're
Okay.
final. So this is your final actual detailed worksheet, because you guys don't make, the details don't make it here.
Yeah.
Unaudited them, because this could change after they audit, they tend to move stuff around. And this is your final budget and revenues. Actually, I had to do a journal adjustment on a personnel administration. I caught where an expense code was being charged versus a liability code, so I actually added you gained a little more surplus, like a couple $100,000.
Oh,
So
even better.
other than those minor changes, no.
Great. All of the departments have done a nice job, one with spending what they just need to spend in the current budget year. You know, we always try to be, they all try to be very conservative when they're budgeting, and, you know, obviously changes in staffing and changing in expenses sometimes affect that a little bit, but kudos to all of our departments. You know, some of it was a challenge with staffing with the police department this past year, but when Judy and I were talking and we were working on the annual report, we're looking at somewhere between 10 to 14%, was it, being returned back to the general fund from the 2023 budget, so pretty solid.
Yeah.
And we're looking at
Upwards of if you pull out water, so it'll be 18% after my.
18% out there, yeah, unaudited, of course.
Unaudited, and that's after I did it.
And then our 2024 budget is looking to be
A
about a
3%.
3% increase. And that being, you know, we're fully staffed finally in all departments, even the highway department was understaffed until
Mhm.
mid-year this year, so some of that savings comes into play, obviously.
Right.
But we're pretty proud of the work that they do in being conservative for our town, so. Great. Up next, we need to approve some check requests.
Oh, I
So
forgot how do you sign
we
these?
have a check request for a Woodstock Firefighter Fund for an Englert for reimbursement on wreath decorations. Do I have I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Next up, we have a
You
check.
need
Do
the
you need the amount?
numbers,
I know the amount. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's in the,
I meant in the motion,
You can,
yeah, okay.
doesn't matter, I was just.
Yeah.
It was in the amount of $1,328.41.
Yeah.
And then we have a scholarship request for, and a Harvey for 1,000. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept that, that goes to.
To Plymouth State University.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
And lastly, a scholarship in the amount of $1,000 for Jordan Sabourn to payable to Colby Sawyer College. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I
yeah,
have a
I'll
second?
second it,
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I forgot to have you guys sign and I motion to sign the warrant
Oh,
and
okay.
have Scott sign in the office.
Okay.
I forgot.
So, yep, I make a motion to accept the warrant as presented and for Scott to sign it in the office. Do I have a second?
Yes, you do.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Signed by Scott. in our office.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see anything under old business. Either of you have anything under old business?
I do not.
Okay. Public participation on the agenda items. Any questions or comments on this evening's? No? All right, well, we are gonna go into a non-public session under 91A:3, 2A. Bingo, right? And we will not come back into public session after that. We will just adjourn for the evening, so. I made the motion. Do I have a second?
second,
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming out tonight.
Are you gonna shut that off? We'll just take
Yeah.
that out
See
with
you
us?
there. See ya.
No, I can't because Scott's not here.
Okay, so you're just not gonna record.
No, I'm gonna stop recording.